My dear respected football fans, KlarseSport Podcast, myself, Mr. Klarse. I'm joined by a good friend, Chevy, and today we are going to touch on a topic which a lot of fans have demanded me to touch on. The past players versus the present players. Chevy, your view, please.
Yeah, Mr. Klarse, thanks again, my bro. Past and present, I know this is a topic that means a lot to you. I see you getting a lot of traffic about this one. And a few we agree with and a few we don't. So we'll be interested to see, where we are and see what the fans take up on it and see what their views and see if they got similar thoughts to us. Obviously, we grew up in a generation where there was just hella ballers. We were spoilt with it. But I think let's go in. Where do you want to start?
We're going to have to start with the centre-backs.
Okay.
And the full-backs.
Yeah.
All right, so first off, I'm just going to put this out there. This whole Van Dijk being the greatest Premier League centre-back of all time, absolute nonsense. Like, such nonsense. I think even Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles can see that that's absolute nonsense.
All right, so where do we get? Because we could go past and we could go way back to compare him to, but are we going to say what Premier League defenders? We stick with the Premier League?
We can stick with the Premier League.
We can go far back, but I won't go too far back. Where do you put Van Dijk against John Terry?
It's John Terry all the way. There's no debate for me.
Why?
He's held his own for longer, played at the top level for longer. The only thing Van Dijk's got on John Terry to me is he's got pace, definitely. But everything Van Dijk can do, John Terry can do, and he's done it for longer. So that, to me, warrants John Terry to be better than him. Simple as that.
You touched on the pace. I think, obviously, Van Dijk's better on the ball, quality passing, dribbling, what have you. But, as much as of a prick John Terry was as a person, he was a great defender. There's no denying that. A few of these Premier League legends were pricks off the pitch, but great on it. But John Terry was quality defender, great leader. Heart, put his body, face on the line many occasions. Where would you put Rio in the mix of against Van Dijk?
For me, it's a no-brainer. Rio wipes the floor with him. Like, Rio is a ball-playing defender as well. Great at reading the game. He can be nasty at times, but he's very precise with his nastiness. So he doesn't lose his rag like, you've got the Ramoses, as great as a defender. Ramos is, he can lose it. Vidic is another one. He has got that side in him, Vidic, where he can lose it and he will get the odd red. But Rio, he's just so level-headed. He's got everything in his locker. Like, he's most definitely, when it comes to Premier League centre-backs of all time, he walks right up there, to be honest.
Yeah, but I think Rio could say that, not even just Premier League, I think for the, in the world, in his day, in his era, there wasn't too many better than him. As we mentioned, both of them, they've got a bit of history. Where would you say, Rio or JT?
Oh, it's Rio all day long. As I said, Rio can do everything JT can do, but better.
Yeah.
And he's got pace, and he's a better ball player, and he's better at reading the game, and just everything. He's just all round better. I think that's not even debatable
100%,
for me.
100%. All right, so let's say Rio, out of the three guys you mentioned, Rio in his day, by far the better centre back out of the two guys. You said something, I just wanted to touch on it. But you said Premier League. You stressed the fact that we're talking Premier League. But where would you put Rio amongst the best defenders in the world in his time?
Do you know what? I rate Rio highly. As great as I rate him, he wouldn't come in my top 10 of all time. Because
all-time centre-backs?
All-time centre-backs, no. A lot of people probably thinking, oh my God, as Klarse lost his marbles. No, because when I start naming the Maldinis, the Bareses, the Cannavaros, the Nestas, the Beckenbauers, Thuram, the Stam. Do you know what I'm saying? There's an argument for Vidic.
I'll take Thuram away though.
Would you?
Yeah, because he played mostly right back.
but he played centre back as well.
Yeah, but he played mostly right back.
Because that's just like the Maldini. Maldini
Yeah, he played
played
left
left back
Yeah,
and centre
yeah,
back.
yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like these sort of players, Hierro. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? For me, they're all better than Rio. For me,
Yeah. So what you would say Vidic is better than
Rio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say he is. Rio's more cleaner with his tackles. I think Vidic edges him just a bit. But Rio does have that on him where he's a bit more cleaner, but I'd say Vidic edges him just a bit.
Fair
Like,
enough. I'd disagree and say that Rio was better than Vidic, but that's football's down to opinions, and as fans we've got our opinion and everyone else got their opinion.
But one thing I would say, Stam is better than both of them.
Yeah, Stam in his day was solid. But I think there's arguments to say, did he have the longevity that, someone like Rio had at the top level?
Well, for me, for all you young boys listening in that didn't get a chance to watch Yab Stam, he was a brick wall. You could not get past Stam. It's as simple as
He
that.
looked like a brick wall as well.
And when it comes to being nasty, he had that nasty streak in him, but he knew when to do it. And Stam is just ruthless. Centre forwards didn't want to play against Stam. And just going back on past versus present, you look at the poster boys for the major teams now, and no disrespect when I put this name out there, but Varane. Like, seriously, if that is the best defender, or top 3, 4, 5, whatever, best defender now, as it stands, that means football's in trouble,
Yeah,
to
but
be honest.
Varane can't talk to his teammate, though. He can't talk to Ramos.
Exactly, but he is top 5 as it stands now, isn't he?
I don't know.
You wouldn't say?
He's not better than Ramos, so how can he be top 5?
Well, who else apart from Ramos? Is there 4 other people better? Ramos.
I'm
who
sure
else?
there is, but I'm not.
Van Dijk
Yeah, Van Dijk's better than
and
Varane.
Ramos. That outrightly, without no debate.
Yeah. No, do you know what? I'm sure there is. I'm not trying to, show off my knowledge of worldwide centre backs at the moment, but I'll be shocked if Varane's number 1.
But just trying to understand my point. How can Varane even be a top centre back? That just goes to show that the day and age we're in now, football has decreased in its quality. That's how I feel. And even you look at other centre backs that were playing in the Premier League in the previous years, a lot of years back, the Sol Campbells, Tony Adams.
Yeah, legends.
What do you think about these
legends.
guys?
Yeah, big Sol. Obviously he did Spurs dirty, but he had to win trophies, isn't it? But in his day, Sol was eagerly. I think there's an argument to say that at certain periods, best defender in the world. Best defender in the world. No,
It's a big shout.
We won't hold these political views against him, but I think he's definitely up there. And I wish Sol Campbell all the best in managerial in his managerial career now. But yeah, as a defender, arguably one of the best defenders in the world. Could have been the best centre back at one point, for sure. We had some legends today. Tony Adams had his problems off the field, but again, another solid legend leader. You look at even Steve Bruce, Gary Pallister, there's Walker. Some solid Premier League defenders back in the day.
Yeah, some top boys there.
And even my man from South Africa, Lucas Radebe, that Leeds legend.
Yeah, of course. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. And just to touch on the defenders of the past being better than the present, where are your thoughts with the fullbacks of the past versus the fullbacks of the present?
What we say, right or left back?
Fullback's a fullback, mate. Left back, right back.
At the moment, I don't think there's many that could talk to Trent Alexander, fam. Going forwards, I don't think there's
past
or present.
Oi.
In terms of going forwards,
oi.
look at the assists.
I totally agree with you. But
Look what he's creating. I'm talking about going forward. Like going forward, I don't think there's many that can talk to him.
So what about Dani Alves?
Not putting up the assist numbers that Trent's doing, and the deliveries he was doing. Dani Alves is, class, great career, won pretty much everything. But it's easy when you got Messi in front of you. Just pass it to him and let him do his thing.
Yes, it's pretty much
But
that.
no, I'm not trying to take it away from him. But yeah, no, in terms of, I'm talking about going forwards. Now Danny Alves might have been better going up and down and better defensively than Trent, but I'm talking purely on, as an attacking right back, no one can talk to him.
All right, but then if you are a fullback, should you only be able to be offensive and not defensive? You've got to be versatile.
Obviously, you're a defender, so first and foremost, you've got to defend. I'm not saying Trent Alexander can't defend. He is a good defender. He's got good speed. But if you compared him, and I know this is past and present, but we might as well just do a quick present v present. You compare him against defensively someone like Wan-Bissaka. I think Wan-Bissaka's a better defender. I think Trent Alexander's better going forward. But then at the same time, I think if I had to pick one, I'd pick Trent, because I think Trent's defending is better than Wan-Bissaka's attacking.
Yeah, I can't argue that.
So I think that, I think Wan-Bissaka 1v1 as a out and out defending fullback, like he put on a masterclass the other day. He always has, even when he's at Palace since he's come into the team. Is stronger defensively. He's strong defensively. He's stronger than Trent. Trent's obviously better than him going forwards, but I think, you look at their two weaker points. I think Trent's defending is better than Wan-Bissaka's.
Okay, so you're saying offensively, Trent Alexander should be amongst the all-time heavyweights.
Yeah, he will be. I think he will be. If he follows the projection that he's on, and the numbers he's putting up, and the performance he's putting up, easily, the stuff that he's doing, dead ball situations, corners, free kicks, just purely crossing the ball. Yeah, I think if he continues along this path, of course he'll be renowned as one of the best.
How long? What, 3-4 years?
Nah, longer than that.
Okay, yeah, I'd agree with that. He's got
to continue. Like I said,
and he has to.
Can he fulfill his potential? We'll see.
He's got to step up his defensive duties as well.
Because, and I think he will.
I like to touch on what you said previously. You said you're not saying he can't defend.
No.
But a lot are.
Yeah, but
do you know what I mean?
Haters, isn't it? haters gonna hate.
Yeah, me personally, it's true. Me personally, I rate the guy.
Yeah,
Trent he's top quality, but when I think of fullbacks, and he's top man as it stands right now in the Premier League, and Robertson another top man.
Definitely.
Then I think when I think of Premier League heavyweights or fullbacks, I'm going to throw a name out there which I believe is one of the best fullbacks of all time in the Premier League. I want to put out Dennis Irwin.
Yeah, of course, Dennis Irwin, solid left back,
everything,
solid right-footed left back.
Exactly.
Could take free kicks, could strike a ball from miles away. Solid player. He's definitely, for sure, he's up there. Well, but where would you put the now big time pundit? Where did you rank him?
Mr. Gary Neville?
Yeah.
Man United fans might hate me for saying this, but me personally, I don't rate the guy. He's in a great team. You always gave a 5 to 6 performance every game, which is good, but when I say elite and great, Gary Neville, and nah, because I'm thinking of, if you said to me, give me an elite right back, I'm thinking Philip Lahm. I'm thinking Cafu. Cafu's the greatest right back of all time. So I can't now say Gary Neville.
Right,
good player, elite player, no.
But in terms of the Premier League, over the years, where would you rank him?
All right, for me,
who would you say is better than him?
All right,
right back.
For me, he only gets his ratings through longevity. I don't think ability-wise, no. If everyone played for as long as him for a top team at the top level, he would never make it.
So it was, when we growing up, the massive rivalry, Arsenal, Man United, always when we was growing up as kids, that was always there. As we got a bit older into our teenage years, etc. But anyway, it was youths. Where would you rank Lauren and Gary Neville, who would you say was better?
I'd say Gary Neville, he's better than Lauren. I'd say that, most definitely. Lauren never done it long enough, and what he did offer, I don't think it was outstandingly great. It was good, nothing special. You know, funny you said this, because one of the fans tweeted me and said, can you name a Premier League all-time 11? And I put Dennis Irwin as the right back. And, and then a Man United fan, a good friend of mine on Twitter, he said to me, oh, Class, wasn't Dennis Irwin a left back? And I said, listen, I cannot bring myself to put Gary Neville as the right back. Like that, I wouldn't sleep well at night.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But just going back to, you asked me earlier, you know, about the ratings of where I rank Neville. Good player, not elite for me.
So who was more elite at right back in the Premier League?
Than Gary Neville.
Yeah.
I don't think the Premier League has had a elite right back, if I'm honest with you.
Well, until now, with Trent.
I wouldn't say that's elite because, you know, as much as I rate Trent, you got to do it for longer. Come on. Like, if he could do this for another 3 seasons in a row, yeah, he gets that title for elite, yeah. But at the end of the day, you've also got to do it against big opponents consistently. This is the thing.
I think it's promising now. You know, England's got a lot of good options at right back, so I think the future's bright. Like you spoke about your other guy from Chelsea,
Reece James.
Yeah, so the future's bright. You got potentially a lot of right backs who can come in. And funny enough, a lot of those guys like Reece James, Trent Alexander, they didn't start off as right backs, but that's where they found their position to play football, to get in the team. Did their I'm not sure how many what loan stints Trent had to do, but I know Reece James did a few. I think it was at Wigan, somewhere else. But yeah, now they're holding their own. So I think Mr. Alexander can go a long way, man.
Yeah, he can. He's just got to keep it up and be steadfast. But I do feel that the quality, in ability-wise, in the present day, I think has decreased big time because, you know, where's the next Roberto Carlos? Where is he? Where's the new Cafu? Where's the new Maldini? Will we ever see a Maldini? For those young boys that have never seen Maldini play, they listen to these silly pundits like Graham Souness.
Me.
Yeah, an absolute clown.
I heard the Graham Souness is he's blaming Pogba for the coronavirus. That's what I heard.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I heard Souness was blaming Pogba for the coronavirus. He blames it for everything else.
He does.
Even he's not even there, not even in the squad.
No, it wouldn't surprise
Injured,
me.
and it's still his fault.
Sounds like a secret high school crush to me.
Probably does love him.
But yeah, just touching on what I was saying, will we ever get a Cafu? Will we ever get a Maldini? Like I was saying, these pundits like Souness and other pundits that know absolutely nothing about football, they rant and rave about some of these defenders so much that these young guys are actually believing that these players are on the level of the Maldinis, Barasis.
Nah, no way.
And, you know, we just got to put it out there. As good as some of these defenders are, they're not on the level of the guys you've heard us mention, the Maldinis, Barasis. Look these guys up. Watch them on YouTube.
Do you know who people should be looking up? This was another legend in our time. And these two guys had a legendary centre-back pairing, you know. Legendary.
Go for it.
Boom Song and Titus Bramble.
Man,
we're talking about Premier League. I have to touch on Bramble. You know, when we was growing up, if you had a bad game, a man said you had a Bramble. You know the mistakes that guy made.
Oh, Jesus! Man. Honestly, Titus Bramble, he is the worst defender I've ever seen in football history. Me personally.
He was poor.
He was poor.
Like man said in the end, if you had a bad touch, you had a bad game, everything was shocking, you had a Bramble. Maybe you had a bad game, you had a Bramble today. I know. Imagine that. Imagine that. A man's name.
That's how bad he was. But yeah, moving on to past versus present. So will we say the present are not on the level of the past, defensive wise?
Yeah. I'd give defenders to the past.